What's up, Duke fans? Welcome to the Devil's Den podcast. I'm your host, Josh Smith, joined by my co-host Raul and Shu. So Duke beats Western Carolina 95-54. First home win of the season, fellas. So got the home opener going. Cameron was rocking. Coach talked about the fans. So atmosphere was good. We'll get in. We'll talk about the game a little bit here. We'll preview Army coming up on the road for Veterans Day. That's kind of a special thing. So we'll get into that a little bit too. Fellas, off the top here, before we just jump in and talk about the game, what do y'all take away from these type of games? Like, what are you looking for in games against Western Carolina, Army, things of that nature? Like, how do you make meaning in these type of, blowout wins?
I think just I'm looking at like rotations, and like who's playing together and how that's looking, like the different combinations. And then I'm also just looking to see like progress from individual players. Like we'll get in and talk about it, but a big one is Cayden in this game, right? Looking a lot better than the previous game.
Yeah.
So just those kind of little things. Like obviously you have to take anything with a grain of salt because Cayden doing in this against Western Carolina is a lot different than doing it against, Texas's defense. But
Sure.
I just think that. Oh, and then another thing I would point to is like the effort level, you know, um, and I thought that was really good in this game. So that was one thing that I was paying attention to too. Just like, people diving on the floor, making the correct rotations, um, getting deflections, blocking shots, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is like Raul said, rotations, your lineups. Um, to me, it's kind of smart, high IQ plays. I think there was one out of bounds, baseline out of bounds that Sarr fouled the guy, like ran into him. There was like 1 second on the clock, and John points at the clock, it's like just
Let that go. Yeah.
let that go. So things like that, running your sets, running your plays, like just being able to execute. I think that's a big thing in some of these games where we're lack of a better word, just have more talent than the other team.
Yeah. I mean, I think definitely like the crispness of it. You want to look sharp. You want to be prepared, all of that stuff. Or something that you mentioned, and I think like we really haven't talked about it a whole lot. We did last year in the context of last season's team. But as John continues to kind of move through this thing, some of this stuff is going to be patterns. I really love like the blue collar approach that he's kind of brought back a little bit. I think that's what we started on. That's what we were founded on under K for us as fans coming up, right? That was like a big part of it. We'd gotten away from it on the defensive side, I think, where we just weren't, we weren't scared of teams. I think a lot of game plans were out there on how to beat Duke or how to torch Duke there for a little bit. I think it's just refreshing, fellas, just to have that. Like Darren Harris has had like what 4 dives in like 4 games. So I mean that's up there. Maliq's hustling, Dame's hustling, Caleb's been really playing his ass off defensively. Um, so I think there's just some credit to be said for that, to continue to bring in elite talent, new rosters, but to be able to maintain this kind of workhorse, you lunch bucket type of approach with a bunch of 5-star kids is pretty impressive, man. I don't know.
Well, it starts at the top too, and Cam Boozer pretty much embodies that workhorse mentality. I mean,
Cooper did too, right? I mean,
Cooper did
same
as
thing.
well, right? But yeah, just to reiterate, like that's what these guys have been doing, hanging their hats on defense. I think we've seen the defense rise on Ken Palm already. So just keep doing that, building off that. I mean, shots might not fall some nights, but your defensive effort, you control that every night. So bring
Yeah.
that, start with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a play that jumped out to me was the one where Cam dove on the floor and then managed to the ball ended up with Darren Harris and he gets fouled on a three, right? And that I don't remember like the exact sequence, but Cam was like just laid it all out there for that one. Like, and that's
Mhm.
just really indicative of like who he is as a player.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
John's
then,
really been
yeah,
like, I don't know what you intentional on like recruiting that level of star too, right? Like that level of talent. Which can be rare. You don't always see that. But I guess you mentioned it, Raul. Let's start there with just the Boozer twins in general. We'll talk about them a little bit because together they had quite a night or quite a day was our early tip. But 39 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, only 2 turnovers, both of those to Cayden. Cam again is showing the assist to turnover ratio is pretty crisp over there. Um, what did y'all like from this game? We can break it down and we can talk about Cameron first, or we can talk about Cayden first here, but a little bit of a bounce back from Cam. What did y'all like from Big Booze?
Well, this is not maybe an overall thing, but one thing that jumped out to me was he took 9 threes and made 4 of them. From a big man, that is elite, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. But he balanced that nicely with a lot of finishes at the rim. And yeah, I mean, I just thought it was a great game from him overall. And he only had to play 25 minutes, so that's nice as well.
Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns is a guy we haven't talked about as a comp. I know Cat gets a lot of stuff, just you hear a lot about the softness on the defensive side of things. But I mean, if you're going 4 of 9 from 3 as a big man, as kind of a like below the rim big man, you're going to start getting some Cat comps from me personally. But go ahead, Shu.
Well, what do you guys think about his taking overall more 3s than 2s? You okay with that? Would you like to see it the other way? I mean,
in this type of game, I think we're going to get a lot of that, where there's just guys are just kind of settling, just shooting jumpers, shooting threes, right? Like, I don't love it. I didn't like it in the Texas game, where I thought in that first half, it's like, dude, you need to initiate, even if you don't. I'm not talking about like back to the basket post ups, but like even if he's just catching there to initiate his passing, like you got to get deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed through these first couple games, I mean, if he gets turning over his left shoulder, like going up with his right hand straight, he puts those in more often than not. Obviously, he can hit threes, so I'm not, not upset with him taking 9, especially going to knock down 4. But would like to see him mix it up inside a little bit more too. But Cayden had a heck of a game as well. I love the poise, the speed that he played at. Kind of getting to the lane and probing. A lot of times, I know he made a really nice pass to Maliq for that alley-oop. So that guy comes up, it's a lob. The guy kind of sinks back on him. He used that floater a couple times. Was really impressed by what I saw from Cayden.
To your point about Cam, man, I think, and Raul, you could speak on this too. It's almost more about like wanting him to get in the paint, but like when he's on the perimeter, like once he passes, he's staying on the perimeter, right? Like I'd like to see him like dive, roll, slip, do some of the stuff like Maliq, Pat, like you're talking about. Like Pat's rolling. I mean, he's out there on the perimeter doing a lot of DHO stuff, but he's rolling a lot too. Like I think I'd like to see Cam kind of put a little more pressure on. But go ahead, Raul.
Yeah. I wasn't like meaning to imply that he should take 9 threes every game. I just thought, hitting 4 of them from the big man position really just opens up the floor, right? But yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up about like him not really being a roller, because it kind of ties into something I was thinking about. Like I thought Cayden had a lot of success in this game because he got to play with one big man a little bit more often, and that big man was often operating as the roller. Like Shu already mentioned, he hits Maliq for a lob on the roll there, but there was another possession where Cayden finished at the rim, and it was because Pat comes and sets the screen. And then Cayden's able to probe into the lane while Pat's rolling, and just the threat of Pat, being able to catch the lob there allows Cayden to get all the way to the rim. And I just don't know like how that's really going to work going forward, because there's going to be 2 bigs on the floor a lot of the time because they're just too good not to, right? And then the other thing is that Cam, when he's out there, is going to have the ball a lot, which if he's playing with Cayden just makes Cayden into an off-ball guy, which is not really his strength. So I'm kind of like wondering how we can get more like pick and roll action for Cayden with a singular big rolling towards the rim, because that's kind of where he looked his best to me in this game. I don't know what you guys thought of that, but
yeah, I mean, I think, I guess you could get a little creative with your sets where like you're having like, let's say Cayden and Pat are in a pick and roll, and then you would just have Cameron in the corner, and like, Cam can hit the shot. And if not, he's at least your outlet, your release. And so like right after that, then he starts to initiate, and then Cayden would just have to roll to the corner. You don't really want Cayden as a catch and shoot guy out there because that hasn't been that great. The shot has kind of got like a little snappiness to it, for lack of a better, there's a snap in it, a quickness to it. Not a bunch of lift on it really either. And so that's probably not going to be great. But yeah, man, you can tell when he is in the game, there is just more of a fluidity, especially in transition. You know, I think in transition, like that little pass he had to Maliq, that the little quick hit ahead to Khamenia for the 3, things like that. Yeah,
that
I don't know.
something I was going to bring up too. Is that this game was a fast game, right? It had 76
Yeah.
possessions. The Texas game had 67 possessions, so a relatively slow game. I thought that Cayden really benefited from that up-tempo style, and I wonder if we can't like figure out a way to really get up and down the court, at least when he's in the game, you know, because Caleb is a little bit maybe more methodical, though I do think he's improved a little bit at pushing the pace. But, you know, I think Cayden, given the limitations on his jumper and stuff like that, and given how great a passer he is, like would really benefit from, you know, more of this kind of pace. I know that's harder to do against better teams because often their defense is just, they have better athletes, they're better at getting back in transition, all that stuff. But, you know, it's just something to think about.
Well,
Yeah.
Cayden seems to see the floor like as soon as he catches it, that outlet pass, instead of thinking, I'm going to dribble it over half court and then set somebody up. He's like, I know he made a go ahead pass in the corner to, I think it was Khamenia, hit one. He had that nice one. I think he left it over for Maliq. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the place where he reminds me of Trey or Tyus. You know, there's not a lot of similarities in terms of them as like scorers and stuff like that, or defenders when you're talking about Trey. Though I did want to point out that Cayden's defense was way better in this game than the last game. But yeah, just the ability to kind of do the quick hit ahead and just see that, you know, just get us into our offense quickly, I think is, you know, Cayden's probably his greatest strength.
And there's something to it that it's like there's not a stat for it, but like I guess it's just the eye test, if you will. When you're watching ball, fellas, and you can tell there is a comfort level, a control factor, a calmness, whatever you want to call it. And for me, that is like really always been predicated on the point guard position of just having this kind of calm, get this guy the ball, we're going to get into our stuff, like we're going to be able to execute. And Cayden just has that. Like he just possesses that. Like things slow down, things move a little bit differently, the way that like the offense operates. And I don't know if I think that's something that's hard to develop. I think you just kind of have that a little bit. And you're right. Like he is in that mold to me of just the Tyus, the Trey, those kind of guys where they got the ball, you feel good about it. You feel good about it.
Yeah, it's like it's a feel thing, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'd like for them to play together. I think Cayden and Caleb together would be like in 98% of any other year. That would be where you're probably already there, but you would get there. This roster, though, it's really difficult to get to that for like 25 minutes a night or 30 minutes a night where they're playing together like that, because you can't really take your best defender off in Sarr, who would probably be my choice for that. But then I don't know. Then you lose your best perimeter defender, that the ones that might actually get you out in transition. You take Pat off. Pat's been a pretty reliable like 10 and 8 guy. I mean, he's you throw it down there, he can get you a bucket. I don't know.
And also I think Pat's rim protection is pretty valuable as well.
And he's been the only like lob rolling, like putting kind of hard pressure on that way on both sides.
We threw a ton of tried to throw a ton of alley oops to him.
Yeah,
he didn't finish all of them. He didn't finish all of them, but we got to get better.
And then some of the aim on some of them wasn't the best, maybe. But I did really like the one. I didn't think it was the best thrown lob, but I did really like the one where Foster got into the lane and he did like that Chris Paul kind of one-handed dribble, you know, and then he kind of pinned the guy on his hip, and then he threw a somewhat bad lob that Pat still finished. But I just liked the whole move. That was I don't know. Like we're talking about how amazing Cayden was, and I did think he was phenomenal, but like I thought Caleb, except for the foul trouble, also played a solid game. So that's kind of to your point. Like maybe we're making this into an either or when it really doesn't need to be. Maybe it's kind of like a mix and match thing where like some games, and like some games Cayden will just work better. Maybe some games Caleb will work better. Like the Texas game, we needed the defense, right? And Cayden wasn't holding up on that end. But then some games, maybe the defensive matchup will just be easier for Cayden. Like it clearly was in this game. I thought he was really getting through screens and kind of blowing up some of their pick and roll action and just just looked way improved. But again, with the caveat that this is Western Carolina and not Texas, right?
Yeah, I think it feels like it's either or, because I think that's part of what I was talking about too, right? Because the roster, it doesn't really feel like there's a plausible path to both, and so it feels like they're going to be competing for who's on the floor together.
They did play probably like at least 5 minutes
Yeah.
together in this game. There was an
Yeah.
extended stretch, so and
Yeah,
then
you're
I
going to
think
see it.
yeah.
I would just like to see it for like 20 minutes or 25 minutes.
Right.
Like in a normal year, I think you would, right?
Yeah, kind of like the Quinn Cook, Titus kind of
or the
deal.
Tyrese Proctor getting pushed down to the wing like that. It puts Caleb in a place where I think then he looks great. Like if Cayden and Caleb are out there together and Caleb is giving you what you've got now, I think everyone's just raving about this new role that he's in, and because he's doing everything fine, right? Nothing incredible.
No, but it's
But if
hard to
he
be
can play with
mad
Cayden,
about.
go
Hard to
ahead.
be mad about 4 of 7 shooting. Six
Yeah,
rebounds.
I'd like him to shoot more, to be more
Rebounding well,
aggressive.
yeah.
Would be nice.
And he's taking care of the ball too for the most part. 4 assists to 1 turnover in this game. I think he had a pretty good assist to turnover in the last couple as well. So
yeah, and that's the thing too. Cayden's offense is always going to keep this thing, I think, tight for at least, I could see Cayden like year 2, Cayden like really popping and being like a big time player. But I don't know if we'll get there quite this year. But
yeah, they would really have to fix his shot, and that's like you're not doing that in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
that'll be a disaster. So.
Yeah. So you probably just have to live with that. But all right, let's talk about the wings a little bit. Didn't get a ton offensively from Slim and Dame out there. I thought Dame had a really tough game offensively. I think we're probably just going to get more of those than not. I mean, he's lightning quick with the ball. That remains the same. Didn't hit his threes. We've seen that the wing corner 3 looks okay. I don't think we have to be super concerned about that. But the handle, the drive, some of just the just got to slow down a little bit. Like the speed's there, but it's like kids got to learn how to stop. I don't know. What do y'all make about kind of where things are at with Dame and maybe what that development looks like for him? Assuming we're not concerned about Slim. I mean,
no, I mean, I think Slim's, those are going to be, look, he's a bright light, big game player. I don't know if this one, not saying it didn't matter to him, but when the stage is the biggest, I think that's when Slim will show up, but the Sarr, registered a 41 on the offensive rating. Not the greatest thing if you're a stats guy. I think you're right, though. Just kind of got going too fast, that little bunny blew, and we've seen him do that a handful of times now. I think those will come around. I think he's just got to get kind of comfortable.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it to you, but he just doesn't seem to have like full control of his limbs yet. You know what I mean? Like he's just all over the place, especially in the lane, right? When he's driving, and like he'll just kind of, lose his balance or just, it doesn't look good. The other thing that worried me a little bit is, going 2 of 5 on free throws. Like,
yeah,
because I always look at that as a projector of like, what is this guy's real shooting ability, right? Like, I know he hit 2 of 3 threes in the Texas game, which was awesome, and we praised him for that game. But this game was like a little bit more down to earth for him. In terms of Isaiah, like, I didn't have any problem with the way he played. He just missed his threes. Like, he got to the line a lot, hit his free throws. I thought he did some. He had a nice pass. I feel like he got a fair number of rebounds. Probably not. 6 rebounds. That's good for him. Yeah, he's not been the best, rebounder overall. So that was nice as well. He had a nice finish, but just couldn't make his threes, and that's going to happen sometimes, I think. We're depending on him more this year, but even last year, like, he ended up shooting 43%, but there were some games where he just didn't make a 3, right? He would come in and he just didn't have it that night, right? So I think there's always going to be a degree of streakiness there. I thought he played a solid enough game overall. I'd be a little bit more, my concern level would be a little bit more geared towards Dame here than Isaiah. I'm not worried about Isaiah at all.
Yeah, but Dame, it's just because we haven't seen enough of it. Now, I think part of it is, in the Tennessee and the Texas game, it was so evident or apparent with the defense, with what he was doing defensively. In a 30, 40-point game, the defense intensity just isn't going to be there, right? Like you're not going to need it. You're not going to see it. And so if that's the main part of your game, then I will say though, like I would, if that's your one elite package and like your one elite skill and the offense is this kind of malnourished, I'd like to see you get a couple steals against Western Carolina, right? Like get out. Like if that's what you got to do to get out and transition, even if you miss a dunk or two, I don't care. Get out there though. Like, punch one of these, get some of these balls out off the wing, man. Let's get out and run a little bit.
He did have that one really nice weak side block.
Yeah, that was nice. That was
Came
nice.
from
I'd like to
behind.
see do that more too. Yeah, he's got a lot of length, so use that a little bit. But yeah, not concerned about Slim. I mean, that's he still was doing his normal thing, was still coming off the curls. That was still looking fine. He likes to throw that, like he's got like that LaMelo Ball like lob approach, and it's like, dude, you really have to.
He's throwing it pretty high to Pat.
You gotta have the touch to just be willing to just come in and pick up off the dribble, like a live dribble, and sling it up there. Now, I know the one last year he got, but he was as surprised as I was that it went in. So it's like, hey man, let's get a little more touch on the pass. But
it was pretty much the same play, honestly.
It was the exact same. Yeah, the exact same.
And I guess Pat got fouled on this one, so the outcome was still good. But
yeah, he likes to throw that up there. But I guess in terms of that, I mean, we can go through some other guys. I mean, I continue to. I should have mentioned him earlier, Darren Harris. When you just talk about that blue collar approach, like he just continues to provide that. Like it hasn't popped, but like everything, he looks good. Like he looks like he belongs out there, which to me is a positive thing. Like this should continue, especially with the Wilkins news, which I guess we can talk about that too. But he looks firmly in the top 8 or 9 here for me.
And I think he'll start having more games where he hits like 3 of 4 threes and stuff. Like he's just too good a shooter not to. He has a knack for getting fouled on threes, so that's nice.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, we saw that several times last year, and he didn't even play very many minutes. And just one thing I like about him, and this applies to a couple other guys, is you see when Cayden and Khamenia and Darren all come into the game together, the ball just really moves. Like there's just such flow because none of those guys are ball stoppers. You know what I mean? And for better or worse, Cam and Caleb are a little bit both ball stoppers, right? Now Cam obviously has the talent where you're okay with him stopping the ball, but and he's still a fantastic passer, but there's a little bit of the deliberate kind of I'm going to attack you from the top of the key, whereas those guys are playing more the kind of like Spurs kind of beautiful game kind of thing. Like
just we're all creating for each other. Like this whole thing has to be crisp for it to work, right?
And then you throw like Maliq in there too, and it's like Maliq will make some audacious passes. They don't always work, but like that one, my favorite play of the game was
fastball.
That
one shoulder's okay then, because
and put it like it looked like it was going to come in low, man, but that thing just stays like right here, like right in his stomach, man.
I mean, to throw that one-handed from like the left wing to the right corner, like that
was crazy.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a pass, dude. You go out there and try to make that pass right now. Yeah, that's a big time pass. Yeah, and if not, it seems like it's like a kickball, right? Like if he doesn't get his pass off, it almost always seems to be a kickball or something of that nature. So
I kind of brought him up because I wanted to talk about him. Like it was cool to see him out there for he played 17 minutes. I thought it was a much smoother game than his last one where he was just in foul trouble the whole time. And he just did Maliq things, right? Like he literally just wraps his arms around a dude and ties up the ball when this guy thinks he has it, right? Like that was just I started laughing a little bit on that one because it was just it was just such like a ballsy thing to do. It was just that guy did not expect it at all.
And then he just walks back like he's just okay, sure, whatever, blocks a shot, gets up, just slightly jogs back down the floor. It's like, all right, man, that's cool.
I mean, if we can get 6, 8, 10 points out of Leak every night, I mean, because it's not like he's going to take 10 shots.
Yeah, he's probably got I'm going to get 4 shots out of it.
Yeah,
right? Like you're not going to get much. And Nick too, man. Like anytime Nick comes into like that you mentioned that group together, like he's another guy where he's going to come in, he's going to give you a couple buckets, give you a couple rebounds, give you a couple assists. Like he's just going to play. It's hard to. We haven't really had a guy that's kind of like, I guess Khan was like the apex version of that kind of player, right? But like usually you're thinking more along like I don't know, just like your typical kind of glue guy. But it's solid, man. He's solid. Every time he comes in the game, it's like he's doing something. He's always doing something. So
Yeah, I mean, he obviously hasn't shot amazingly yet, but
yeah, he hasn't. Yeah,
I just like what I see. Like he really is. He feels like a secondary point guard out there, right? Like he's not running your whole offense, but it just gives you another guy who can kind of like probe and kind of make the right pass, and yeah, just he does good stuff, right? And I thought his defense was solid in this one as well. Yeah, there's it's again, I just think you would hope that the shot would come around. I mean, I know he goes 2 of 6 in this one from 3, so you'll take that. At least he made a couple. But yeah, he's another kind of eye test guy where it's like the stats maybe don't match what I'm seeing quite yet, right? Like if you were to look at his raw efficiency, it doesn't look amazing, but you can see it.
Yeah. I mean, he just seems like that typical glue kind of guy that you can just put in there and does good stuff, right? Just does good stuff. But anyone else y'all want to kind of highlight in particular here? I mean, we talked about the Boozers, we've talked about Darren, we've talked about Caleb a little bit, talked about Khamenia. Jack Scott hit a 3. That's cool. You think over under on Jack Scott threes going forward? 1.5. I don't know. Probably doesn't hit another one. We'll see.
Yeah, he's no. He's not quite at the level of some of our past walk-ons that could just light it up, right?
You need a little bit of like on-ball skill, a little bit, right?
But does that put him and Marshall Plumlee are now tied 1-for-1 3-point percentage?
I guess so, yeah, because he went 1 from 2 from the field overall, but the other was not a 3. So yeah, just quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, why not?
And was that was Iffy's first like actual minutes, right?
Yeah.
So and he's Iffy's 1 for 1 from the field, so he's shooting 100% period. So just again, nice to see him get in there and get a bucket.
Yeah, get a little. Yeah, get some playing time. Sheffield played too. I guess we should talk about it. We haven't really kind of got into it a little bit, but we get the news that Sebastian Wilkins is going to be redshirting here. So he had kind of reclassed up, joined this class. There's a lot of talk about the staff thought that he might end up being kind of a top 15 kid in his original class. So this news, fellas, like first off, I'll just toss it to y'all. What do y'all make of him redshirting? Was that a surprise to you? Kind of in this landscape, it seems a little bit kind of weird to me, but that's fine. What did y'all make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it is bizarre, right? Because like you don't expect him to be at Duke for 5 years. So it's like, what really is the benefit or purpose there? And then also, I feel like 3 years from now, they might have just changed the rules and allowed a 5th year for everybody, right? So it's like,
probably,
it's just strange. And it's also strange because we've got 9 rotation players, and it's like, there might be a situation where you could maybe use Wilkins. Now you can always burn the red shirt. So maybe the thinking is like, he'll just redshirt, and then if something comes up, he'll start playing, right? Like if there's an injury or something like that. But you just don't want to see like a Joey Baker situation where the redshirt gets burned for a guy to come in for 5 minutes, and it's like, okay, you kind of wasted a year.
What's the point of that? Yeah, just a little odd to me, but shoot.
Same for me. I mean, to reclass and come early. Maybe just to get on campus, get into the program, get the strength and conditioning going. If this is something that's mutual between his camp and the staff, obviously, then I'm all for it. I don't know any details about it. This just kind of seems like it came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, I mean, I knew who's the last guy that we did have redshirt? Jaden Shoot. Did Shoot end up redshirting, or did he break it? Yeah, he redshirted. Okay. TJ Power didn't redshirt, right? Or did he? No, did he technically? No, he didn't redshirt. Okay.
Shoot redshirted and then transferred. So it's like, hopefully the same thing doesn't play out there. But it's not surprising on some level because what did he end up in like the final rankings? Like is 40 something?
48, 40, yeah, somewhere around there.
So you wouldn't expect like a young freshman who's ranked in the 40s to be playing many minutes, if any at all, on this team. And based on what I'd seen, just like blue white, he actually looked pretty good there. But in the practices and some other, situations, like he didn't necessarily look super ready, right? But
Yeah.
so I mean, how many minutes was he realistically going to play a game? Like 5 or something, and he's going to get a lot of DMPs. So it's not like it's going to make a huge difference to his season or our season, but yeah, it just is. It just feels a little odd.
Yeah. Just because, like, if you're in that kind of ranking or in that kind of projection out, like, are you really planning on spending 5 years in college? Like, right? Like, even if you don't play a lot as a freshman, I would just think that you would just kind of go through it, be a sophomore next year, and then we would just see. But hey, whatever.
Well, I want to point out too, like, and we're a little spoiled. Like we always talk about, well, if you're a freshman and you were ranked 40th, you're probably not going to play a lot at Duke, which is probably true. I mean, but those guys could play a lot at Georgetown, Maryland, right? Somewhere like that. Like he could have went and probably been a starter on one of these other schools. So that's why it's a weird thing for me, is like coming and transfer when you probably could have just played somewhere and came to Duke if you blew up somewhere else first.
Yeah. So a little odd, but whatever.
I wonder what is like, what the NIL situation is for a player like that deep on the roster too. It's like, hey, if you're getting okay NIL and you're just getting kind of paid to hang out with the team and work on your body and stuff, maybe it's not the worst outcome, right? Like,
Well, maybe that's the whole thing too. Yeah, you get that extra year of eligibility. It's an extra year of NIL if you pop down the road, right? So
I mean, if you're realistic about yourself and kind of know, oh, I'm not like this high level pro prospect, but a lot of guys think they are even when they're not. It's the thing, right? So, but maybe he's one of the rare realists, and it's just like, I'm going to milk this college thing.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I really get too much concerned about what it does to our depth because, like you said, I don't even know if he's played in any of these games, so it doesn't really. There's nothing there for me. I'm not too concerned about that. Now, if injuries happen, sure, but like, if Cam Boozer gets hurt for the season, it's over anyway. Like, so what is it? Okay, sure. We might could have. I guess at that point you would just play Wilkins. Why not? You just burn the red shirt and let him get in there. You're a little thin, but I think it's still fine because the 9 that we have, man, there's a lot of like
interchangeables.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of separation. Got a lot of guys that can give you a lot of things outside of just Cam and Slim. There's no real separation for me. Maybe Pat. You could put Pat a little bit closer to that category, but it's those two. It's Cam for sure, but I think Slim's gravity just enough is up there. But outside of that, man.
Yeah. And I mean, there may not be a lot of separation, but at the same time, all those guys are like clearly playable is the other thing.
Yeah, they're not bad. Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. Yeah, they're just they're closely together in talent, right? Like, so it's I think you're just gonna see a lot of that, like some of the parts type stuff by committee type stuff, right?
And I mean, to that point, not to bring it back to this game again, but we saw so many different lineup wrinkles, and I think we're going to kind of see that throughout the year, right? Where just, I mean, especially in games like this, where the outcome is never in doubt, right? Like Shire was just trying stuff. Like he got in, the subs early, and then he's like, okay, but I'm going to leave 4 of the subs out there. I'm going to bring Pat back in, and it's like, okay, but I'm going to take Pat out, and I'm going to insert Caleb with Cayden, and just, I think we're going to see a lot of fluctuation. Obviously Cam and Evans are going to be out there, but we've talked ad nauseum about the point guard spot, but also it seems like the wing thing is a little bit in doubt too, right? Like if Sarr is going to struggle offensively, Khamenia can get in there. We've seen there's just so many wrinkles. Like, I don't know that, this team is not going to be maybe as good as last year's team, but I think they can be pretty diverse in terms of like what the kind of ways they can play.
Yeah, it's going to look different, but yeah, I agree. All right, fellas. Well, I guess we'll spend a little bit of time here. Don't want to do a thorough preview, but I feel like it's at least worth talking about very briefly as we get close to Veterans Day. Duke's going to travel to West Point, which I think that's probably the most interesting piece, is that this is going to be on the road. I did hear Coach say that, or Coach Shire say that Coach K is going to travel with the team, so he'll be there. Probably some planned event or some kind of whatever. What are y'all making of this game, playing this on the road? First, I think that's kind of cool. We've talked about that a little bit, that being a cool thing here. But again, another one that predicts to be pretty lopsided. So what are y'all kind of expecting to see from this? And do you buy into the, what is it, like a 30-point spread or a 28-point spread, whatever, on KenPom?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a cool thing to be traveling to West Point, Coach K's alma mater, on Veterans Day. I don't know, a special jersey, maybe something crazy comes out, if they got something cooked up for that. But yeah, just overall, like, those guys come into Cameron often. We've never went to like a smaller school per se to their gym. So it's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the actual game, like, again, I definitely buy into the spread. Again, KenPom, how meaningful is it at this early in the season? But it looks like Army is projected to be terrible and bad on both sides of the floor, right? And I was looking through their roster; they just don't have any size. So I think that's going to be a problem for them against us. Unless they just start lighting us up from 3 or something. This should be, even on the road, should be a really comfortable win. I think the big story is just going to be like, what is Coach K's involvement and what happens there, right? That's the most
that's the
interesting
story.
thing.
Yeah, I want to know what the court. I want to see the court. Like, is the court going to be cool? Are they going to deck that out? Like, I want to see all of the like fans and people, like students, cadets, if they're there too. Like, I don't know. I think it could be really cool. I would expect it to be a pretty big event, a sellout type thing. You have the Veterans Day piece to go with it, so. Yeah, I think it would be real. Do y'all know if there's going to be any type of, I guess we could have looked this up, like game day coverage or like any type of anything of that nature?
Tuesday's a big night. There's some big games on, so I don't know if there's anything.
This is not going to be one of those for that, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool, I guess, in its own right. It's cool. So I did look and see though that it's St. Thomas, but they only lost by 7. We'll see.
Yeah. And then the other team they played, SUNY Maritime, is that like a not even Division 1 or something? Because it says not ranked here. So
I saw that too, and it's like I don't even know what that is.
They crushed them, whoever they are. So there's that.
Yeah, they're gonna take a lot of threes. It looks like. But their games, they shot 41 in one and 35 and the other, 34 in the other. So
yeah,
gonna take a lot of threes.
Didn't they come into Cameron a few years ago and just like light us up from 3? They still lost, but
that was Citadel.
Oh, that was Citadel. Okay.
Yeah, Citadel came in that year. What year was that? I don't even know.
Maybe 2 years ago or something.
It wasn't long. Yeah, they hit like 18 threes. It seemed like.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
I was actually gonna look for
they scored like 90 points or something. We scored like 110, so it didn't matter. But I was totally thinking Citadel. But yeah, there can be a little challenge to playing those small teams who like to get up a lot of threes, especially if you're a big team, because obviously there's going to be speed limitations with a guy like Pat and stuff. But I've seen enough good out of this Duke defense so far that I'm not particularly worried about it. So should be fine.
Yeah. Citadel dropped 81 on us. They hit 18 threes.
18 threes, yeah.
I remember that game. Yeah, Paolo had 28. Yeah.
Was that a Cameron record for an opponent? It had to be, right?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it had to have been. Yeah. What a game. So
what do you think the spread of this Army game will be, and would you take it? Do you think we called the dogs off earlier on them?
Yeah, like I said, it's 89-61 is what KenPom's. Now the official betting line spreads.
Yeah, it's going to be bigger than that, I think, because
it was 30, last game, 35.5 for
Western. And that was like 7 or 8 points larger than the KenPom spread. So I think people are putting money on Duke, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect it would be more like, okay, so that's 89-61. Yeah, I'll give it around 35 points again. I mean, maybe the fact that it's on the road, knocks off like 2 or 3 points or something usually, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's the next game that I think it's going to be fun to talk about in terms of like predictive stuff, because I was just doing a little bit of glancing down our schedule. Indiana State plays super
Indiana
fast,
State. Yeah.
like hella fast, like really
Mm.
fast. And so that
Yeah.
was going to be, that one could be interesting. That could be fun to see in terms of the possession games, the Cayden Caleb dynamic, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, fellas, I mean, I think this one really, it's just the atmosphere being in the at Army in West Point. I think that's the coolest factor here. Bit of a weird little space that we're in, coming off of Texas, and then you have Western Carolina, Army, Indiana State, but then boom, you get Kansas. Like it picks right back up, folks. So it won't be long.
It would be nice if Kansas plays as poorly against us as they did against UNC, but we all know that's not going to happen, right?
It won't happen, man, because it really just feels like that second half was just kind of fluky. Like UNC just came out and kind of just rolled off on them. I mean, Kansas was up 8, and then they were down 12 or something within like 8 minutes. It's like
they gave up almost 60 points in the second half.
Yeah,
that's insane in a college game.
Yeah, unfortunately, Caleb Wilson looks like he is actually like really good. So they lucked into one.
He's top 10 in KenPom Player of the Year so far. Boozer's number 1, by the way.
Number 1, yeah. I think Caleb's number 10 and Boozer's number 1.
Yeah.
Peterson might have been like 9.
Yeah, there's like 4 freshmen in the top 10. That surprised me, but I think that kind of shows you like the college basketball is going back to getting a little bit younger again.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I'm sure there was not 4 freshmen in the top 10 last year at any point. Like it would have been Cooper and who else really?
Just because Janai Broom. Yeah. Anyway. It looked good. So, all right, fellas. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and get out of here. We'll come back. We'll wrap up, or we'll talk a little bit about the Army game, preview what we got looking forward. Get ready to get into the big games coming up. The season's kind of right here. It's on us. It's hard to kind of think that we're already about to start playing twice a week. So got to get into the mindset here. The flow of things, ready to roll. Ready to go, though, fellas. Let's do this. We appreciate you all. Please rate, review, subscribe. You can email us, TheDevilsDenPod@gmail.com. You can find us on X/Twitter @DevilsDenPod247. And keep the faces strong and the verb high. Go Duke.